Today's guest is Ann Gordon, whale wisdom expert, dolphin ambassador, retreat host and facilitator, best-selling author, speaker, and dolphin energy healer. Ann's work invites people to remember who they truly are through deep connection with natural world, especially through intelligence, presence, and frequency of whales and dolphins. She creates transformative retreats, experiences in the pristine Pearl Islands of Panama, where life coaches, authors, speakers, and healers, and transformational leaders bring their communities to reconnect with their purpose, open their hearts, and access a profound sense of clarity, joy, and peace. More than a retreat destination, Ann offers an initiation, a space where leaders slow down, listen deeply, and allow nature's wisdom to align both with their inner world and the work they are bringing to their outer world. I'm honored to welcome Ann Gordon to Leading with Purpose. Hello, Ann.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, it's great to be here. And I haven't heard that by in a long time. It's all accurate. And not only Panama, I'm in Bimini in the Bahamas, humpback whales and Morelia in Mexico, all over the world now.
That is amazing. And I've known you for so many years, and yes, there's so many things that have evolved in that time. And I love the idea again about bringing leaders to host retreats with you.
Yes. It's magical because it's like there's lots of coaches and healers who want to lead a retreat, but they don't know how to do all the logistics. And so I can help them by doing all the logistics, and they just have to bring their tribe.
And again, you bring a very, very unique part with the whales and dolphins. Your work is really rooted in the wisdom and the energy of whales and dolphins. I'm curious, what first called you into this path, and how did it transform your own sense of purpose and leadership?
Yeah, that's the $1 million story for sure. And it started very, very young for me because I grew up in Olympia, Washington. We were right on the water. My dad had a boat, so many weekends and every summer vacation was out on the water, sometimes in the San Juan Islands with the orca whales, watching the orcas. So I've been blessed to be immersed in orca energy long before I even knew what that term meant, right? But when I was a kid, looking back on it, the presence of the orcas kind of felt like a loving, protective older brother presence. Mm-hmm. So very comforting, very safe feeling for me. And like many people who love dolphins and whales, I've dreamt with them for years and years and years, and, been swimming with them in my dreams for a very, very long time. And so I studied biology and animal behavior in university. I kind of went a little bit different route from university. I ended up being a zookeeper. I was actually the first woman keeper in the carnivore department in Seattle's Woodland Park Zoo.
Oh, wow.
Mainly because they didn't think women were strong enough to open the big, heavy bear doors.
That's funny.
And
they are heavy.
They're really heavy. They're things, big, heavy guillotine doors. And they need to be strong and heavy, right? You don't want the bears heading out.
Yes.
Right. So, but I managed to use my body as a counterbalance and just yanked them open when needed. And so from the zoo, I started my own company where I raised and trained wild animals and took them out to schools to do educational outreach to teach an appreciation and respect for wildlife and nature. And I did that for about 5 years. And then I realized in the Pacific Northwest, there was nobody providing animals for the film industry. So I became a big fish in a small pond and the go-to person, the only person providing animals for movies and TV. And that was fun. I got to work on all kinds of fun projects, Northern Exposure, Legends of the Fall, Homeward Bound, all kinds of fun stuff. And so I did that for over 20 years. But then at one point, I started feeling, the only way I could put it is I started feeling the call of the dolphins. And what that looked like was I kept thinking about them and like, how do I get out to swim with them? How do I get out to be with them? And I was so busy that I didn't get to spend as much time with my dad on the boat anymore. And so I booked a orca whale watching trip for my birthday that year. And I just told friends and family, hey, I'm doing this. You're welcome to come or not. And we went out, and in the Pacific Northwest, in the Puget Sound, there are 3 resident orca pods, J, K, and L pods. And every once in a while, something really magical happens where all 3 pods come together. And it's this major celebration, and they call it a super pod. Well, on my birthday, that's what happened.
Wow.
And we were with a super pod on my birthday. We were with these orcas for over 2 hours, all around the boat, exhibiting every behavior you could ever wish for, breaching and slapping their tails and swimming right next to the boat and looking up at us. And
I have a question for you about the orcas, because you mentioned a little while ago about orca energy, and when you felt it before you knew what that meant.
Right.
And a lot of people are confused about orcas because they're called killer whales.
Correct.
They're not whales.
Actually, they are. Technically, all dolphins are whales, but not all whales are dolphins. So
I didn't know that dolphins were whales either. Okay.
Right. So taxonomically, how we, arrange things biologically is that whales is the overlying group. And then there's different subsets. So in one of those subsets is the dolphins. And in the group of subset of dolphins, orcas are the largest member of the dolphin family.
Yeah. And there's all different types of porpoises that we call dolphins.
And then porpoises are another offshoot of that dolphin group. And then in the bigger, larger whales, you get the baleen whales, which have the filter plates that feed on really small things. And then the toothed whales, like the sperm whales, right? Pilot whales, and so on. And so yes. And I want to address your killer whale question because, the name is kind of a misnomer because in other languages, like, for example, Spanish, it was ballenas asesinas, which means killers of whales. So they're whale killers, not killer whales. But because Spanish and English flip the terms, the descriptive words, that we translated it to killer whales, and that's what they're called. So there are killer whales because they do sometimes, some different groups of orcas do predate on different things, like that southern residents eat primarily fish, preferring salmon. There are some that prefer mammals, meaning dolphins, seals, sea lions, and then there are some that prefer larger whales. There are some that prefer sharks, including great white sharks. There's some that prefer stingrays around the world. So, they're fascinating animals, and being the apex predator in the ocean. But here's the thing about them, and this is what my brain does, is I take the biology and the messages I receive from them, and we get these amazing lessons. Because an orca whale, if you just look at its body from the top, it's black with a bit of white. But if you look at it from the bottom, the belly, it's white with a little bit of black. So they're really balanced, white and black. So they represent living in balance and in harmony with the environment. And they're also in balance with the dark and the light within them. Just like all of us, we all have our dark thoughts. We all have our negativity that comes up within us, but we humans tend to avoid it, ignore it, push it aside until it erupts. but the orcas know how to stay in balance with that.
Such a beautiful lesson. And it's funny because that's what I was going to be kind of moving into next, because I know that many of our listeners are transformational leaders. Those are the people that you serve, and they're very good at holding space for others, but they don't always get to pause for themselves the same way. And I'm curious what whales and dolphins teach us about presence, alignment, which is one of my things, and leadership. What is true leadership in those pods that you're talking about?
I love that. So 2 things. One, dolphins in their pods, orcas as well in their pods, I like to use the term unity community. And what that means is that every member of the pod is an honored and respected member. There is not like a caste system. Yes, there's a matriarch, especially in orcas, but she's the wise elder. She's not like, handing out punishment. She's just teaching them and leading them. And okay, here's how you hunt this prey, right? And here's what we're going to do. We're going to hunt in this area today. But there is no such thing as, somebody who's weak or somebody who's bullied or any of that, because individuality is honored and respected, which is something that we humans are not very good at, right? We feel that when we are in a true unity community, that we are going to have to give up something of ourselves. But in the world of the dolphins, you never have to give up that. What makes you unique is honored. And so for leadership, it's leading with more by example. And again, not by punishment, not by hard set rules, but what's good for the individual is good for everybody, and vice versa.
I love that. It's funny because I'm thinking about how sometimes we lose our autonomy and we feel like we're just like everyone else. And especially out in this industry, like we can get lost in a sea of noise. But if I look at a dolphin or a whale, now I'm not you. So to me, every orca looks the same. And like, how do you say they honor each other's differences? Then to us, they don't have differences.
So they do if you get to know them really well, right? They have individual markings, and like the orcas, their dorsal fins, every single one is unique. Humpback whales, the underside of their tail, every single one is like a fingerprint, completely unique. In fact, there's a website set up to catalog all those tail IDs. They also have their markings like right behind their dorsal fin, the orcas, that's unique in every single one. So when you have an eye for it, you can tell them apart.
Got it.
And however, to them, just like to them, we probably all look the same. Right? Oh, those humans, right? They make
floundering around in the ocean.
Right? It's just, just another one of those 4-legged, 2-legged stand-up things, right? But they have something that is one of my favorite living skills of a dolphin, and that is their echolocation, which means they live in a world of complete transparency.
Oh, because everybody can hear what they're saying.
Because everybody can hear what they're saying, and they literally have X-ray vision. So they can see inside the bodies of each other. They can see weakness. They can see pregnancy upon conception. They can see it not only in each other, but see it in their prey. So if they're hunting a salmon and they're following a school salmon, and this one salmon has a tumor and it's swimming a little slower, it's like, oh, that's the one, right? And they also can see inside us. Now, we'll take it a step further, which is really amazing. Not only can they see the physical state of our bodies, they can see the emotional state. Now, if you think about it, it actually makes sense, because when we're angry or when we're sad, we hold our body differently than when we're happy and relaxed. And they can see those subtle differences.
Mm.
And it's really funny when I've got people like we're swimming with dolphins and you get somebody who's like, I really want to swim with the dolphins. That want, that desire pushes the dolphins away.
Just like it does with people. Like nobody wants needy people.
Nobody likes needy. But when you're relaxed and you're just shifting into a place of gratitude, which is something I tell my people every time, first day on the retreat, let's just come from a place of that, of gratitude, and then they're right in there. But let's go back to the transparency, because if they can see your emotional state, what that means is in the world of dolphins, there is no such thing as a secret or lie. That's powerful.
Yeah.
So imagine in our world what that would be like to live in a world with no secrets or lies. It's super, super powerful and a little scary for us humans, because we all think that there is, we have to hide things from others because they may not like us if they truly knew this. So with full transparency, it gives this amazing sense of freedom. And so again, going back to your comment about leadership, what's like, as a leader, we want to be as transparent as possible. We want to show the freedom and that it's okay to be transparent. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have all the answers. We are humans. We make mistakes. We have emotions, right? And so by showing your vulnerability, it can be hugely healing. And I have a great story for that. And that is when I led my very first retreat in Bimini, where we swim with the dolphins, back in 2018, I was living in Panama at the time. I was married to an indigenous man from the jungles down there, and his mother, my mother-in-law, was this amazing, wonderful, lovely human. I always say I had the best mother-in-law in the entire world, and we were very good friends. Well, when I was getting ready to lead this retreat, I came up to the U.S. About a week early, and I was actually sponsoring at Jay Passette's 3-day event, and about masterminds, and retreats and masterminds go hand in hand. So I was talking about retreats there, and the event started on a Friday, and I got a text from my husband that said, my mother left us. Now, she'd been sick before I left, but we didn't have a diagnosis. It didn't seem serious. And so I texted back, well, where'd she go? I didn't even get it because I wasn't even thinking that. And he texted back, she died. I go, what? And I was, floored and in shock and grief. And so I called him, and it's like, all I want to do is jump on a plane and go back and be with him and support him and grieve with him and the family. And, but I had 20 people on Sunday, 2 days later, waiting for me to start this retreat. And they signed up because of me.
Right.
Such a tough decision. But my husband was like, no, I'll be fine. You have to go. You have to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I did. And on Sunday I showed up, but I didn't tell any of my people because I didn't want to burden them with what I was dealing with. Right?
Right.
So we started the retreat. Everything's going fine. And on Tuesday morning was the funeral. And so I called my husband Tuesday morning. We're talking before the funeral. And I just couldn't hold it in any longer. And we got on the boat, and with all the people ready to go out for another amazing day with the dolphins, and I couldn't stop the tears. So I decided to use it as a lesson and talk about transparency. And the dolphins also have taught me that when emotions come up, that we honor them and we dive deep into them and let experience them so they can process and release. And so I told everybody what was going on with me. And then I talked about the transparency and the diving into emotions. And what was amazing by sharing that with everybody is that there was 2 women in the group who turns out they both had lost people, one a father and one a boyfriend, in the last year that they had not completely allowed themselves to grieve. And so by sharing my grief, I gave them permission to grieve. And it was really powerful. They both came up and gave me big hugs and shared that with me. And of course, that was the most amazing day of the retreat. The dolphins, we had 40 dolphins that came up and spent hours with us. And when I got in the water, I was last in the water, letting all my people go first. And they were all having amazing encounters with the dolphins. I kind of hung back. Still feeling sad. Yeah, I was happy for all of my people to get what they came for. But one dolphin was like, oh no. And she came over to me and she made eye contact. She was probably about a foot away. And then she started swimming around me. Well, the only way to maintain eye contact with her was to... So I'm spinning around in the water with her. Like 5 times she circled me until I just burst out laughing in my snorkel, which is not easy to do, by the way.
I was gonna think of that.
Not easy. But I did. And when I started laughing, she stopped. Again, deep eye contact. And then it was like, I get this feeling like my job here is done. And off she went. And that's when I hadn't learned this before, but that's when I truly knew it, that joy can be really deep. And grief and all anger and all that stuff can be very fleeting. And you can experience joy and grief at the same time. And it was powerful.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is so huge. And I know that your retreats are described as a deeply life-changing experience. And obviously these kind of examples are why. And I'm curious, what shifts do you consistently see in people that are stepping out of their daily roles, especially as leaders, and now immersing themselves in this environment?
It's really powerful. You mentioned earlier presence, and I want to bring that back in here, because when you are in the presence of a dolphin or a whale, like when the dolphins are riding in front of the boat or there's a whale breaching in front, it's impossible to think about anything else, right? You are right there in that moment. And I love that presence and gift, it's the same meaning in our language, right? Because it really is a gift, because we humans are really bad about living in tomorrow and yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But the freedom it feels to be fully present is powerful. And when people are in that presence, it's so fun to watch. With the dolphins, people get silly. It's like their inner child bubbles up and isn't allowed to express. And I've seen them burst into singing like goofy 60s TV jingles and, just expressing their pure joy in that. And it's so powerful. And then when you are able to do that, all the stress from their daily life is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And what comes up is a remembrance of creativity, ideas they've had, and how important it is to actually follow through with that. And I've seen people that have come on my retreats and then write novels or create businesses, or, they certainly feel much more confident and positive about themselves.
Mm.
All of which is a huge transformation from working every day and being stressed out and meeting the deadlines and, oh my God, I made this mistake. And all of that is simply gone.
And especially it's beautiful that we have this technology where we get to have this conversation together. We get to share it with everybody on the different platforms, everything else. But we're so dependent on not only technology, but artificial intelligence, that when you get into nature and you get to have that kind of intelligence and that kind of connection to really the deeper version of who we are.
It is. On my gray whale retreat in Mexico, we stay at a completely off the grid camp, eco camp. So there's cell phone, there's internet, there's AI, there's none of that. And I love it. Of course, at first everybody's like, oh my God, what am I going to do with that internet? You're going to be fine and you're going to be great. And it's the best thing ever. And at first they're like, oh my God. And it's like, don't worry. There's an emergency phone. If anything's necessary, give your family this number if there's anything going on. And it's amazing to see relax into that.
And I know obviously when you're doing these experiences, they're retreats. And so it's not just the watching itself, but you facilitate lots of different things. You have meditations and other tools. I'm going to be sharing a link down in the links below. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, what it is?
Yeah. So if you love the dolphins like I do, or even if you're curious about it, I have a guided meditation. It is a free gift to all of you, and it is called Meet Your Dolphin Spirit Guide. And it's a meditation that I lead, and it's about 20 minutes. And all you have to do is just listen and just trust whatever comes up to me. And if you want a dolphin spirit guide, you get one. You get to meet them and have a moment of connection with them. And the beauty is, once you've connected, then you can invite that spirit guide into your dreams, into your own meditations, and maintain that connection forever if you want.
I love that. And that really leads into the bigger work that you do. So the retreats are fun, and this has been, still part of your life for a long time, but it's really about the healing energy of these whales and dolphins. And then you actually have a certification for coaches as well.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about how do people access that? How do coaches access whale and dolphin energy?
Well, it's really fun. And here's the thing. When I learned it back in 2004, I am not somebody who can feel energy. And I know a lot of you out there watching this probably can, but that's not my gift. But what is my gift is that when I just tap in and I ask the dolphins and the whales to come through me, and I have to trust that something's happening because I feel absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I'm doing nothing. But what I do get is a pretty steady stream of visions and messages that they send me for my clients. And on my retreats, I do group sessions as well. And they're pretty amazing. And sometimes they make no sense to me. And I'll share them with my client and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Right. But it can be. And so in my class, in my certification course, I teach you to become this conduit, this channel, if you will, for their energy. And everybody has their own way of sensing energy. And some people make it visions and messages like I do. Some may do it in complete silence. It's all perfect. And it's not like, okay, you have to follow this step and then you got to do that step. It's not that. It's just trusting. And when I was learning this, I didn't trust it at all until I started working with partners. And when I was learning, and the feedback I got was what helped me start to believe that something was actually happening. And so in my certification course, every single call, we go into breakout rooms and they practice with each other. So it's a safe place. There's no expectations. I'd say, just put it. Just, if you don't feel like you're doing anything, just pretend that you're doing something. But when they get the feedback from their partners, it's like, oh, maybe I do something.
Oh, that's fun. And yeah, it fits. You both said fun at the same time because that is dolphins. Dolphins have that fun, playful energy. And
Yes.
I love the idea that they can see through, because the echolocation, I didn't realize that it could help them see through bodies, through their own bodies, and to recognize pregnancies, all those other things. So it does all fits together, both as being able to witness the animals and learn the lessons from them, but then to become certified and using that energy to coach clients. It just feels so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really a cool modality, and it can be combined with others, with Reiki or whatever else you've got in your wheelhouse. It's all good. And obviously in the class, we focus only on dolphin whale energy, but once you're certified, you can personalize it, make it your own, however you want.
And I'm really excited because I'm going to get to see you in February, the Soulful Leadership Retreat, and I want to be able to start creating events with you. This is something that you can do with other leaders as well, right? To be able to bring their community and help guide them through a retreat.
Yeah, it's powerful. And what's amazing is a lot of times people are like, well, how does dolphin whale, it's going on a dolphin trip, how does that align with my message? And when I teach people how to do retreats, it's like everything needs to be aligned, right? From the location to the topic to the excursions, all the activities, right? However, your participants don't need to understand it yet, as long as you do. So for example, if you are, say, you're a wealth mindset coach, right? Teaching people to open to abundance. You may think, well, what does whales and dolphins have to do with that? Well, I'll tell you that whales represent abundance, being the largest creatures to have ever lived on Earth, eating the smallest, and you never see it skin whale. And science has actually proven that when there are more whales in the ocean eating fish and krill, that there's actually more fish and krill because of the whale's presence than less.
Isn't that wild?
So they actually create their own abundance. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on the teaching on that. I have a whole 5-module course on it. And so that's something where the mindset coach, the money mindset coach can go have that in their back pocket and say, we're going to go on a whale watching expedition. And they're going to go, well, that sounds like fun. Well, relates, but I don't care. I'm just going to go. And then on the boat, the coach and I can share this whale abundance wisdom to bring it all together. And that's just one of many subjects that they can work with your clients with.
And of course, that could work with relationship coaches, obviously. I've been talking about leadership this whole time. Of course, we're on the Leading with Purpose podcast, and that's what I would love to see our retreat be around leadership and bring other leaders out there. Hopefully, they'll want to do their own as well. But I'm curious, again, because we are on the Leading with Purpose podcast, I ask each guest this one question. What does leading with purpose mean to you?
To me, it's leading with your heart. It's following your heart. Sometimes that means at first you might think, well, that's following my own passions. And it may feel a little selfish. And I'll be perfectly transparent with you to stick with that theme. I started my whale watching and retreats for the selfish reason because I wanted to spend as much time on the water and not have to pay for it. And now I get paid for it. However, by following my heart and my passion, they've created an opportunity for me to literally live the messages and the wisdom that the dolphins and whales have taught me over the years. And by doing that, then I'm setting this example and giving people permission and inspiring them to follow their heart and their passion and purpose.
Mm. That is so beautiful. It really is. And I'd love to hear the definition of that. It almost answered the next question, but I'll throw it out there anyway, because I know we'll be having more conversations. We'll probably have one about an upcoming retreat together, but I'd like to at least, are there any last words that you want to share with our audience as we wrap up today?
Yeah, I think following up on what we just talked about, and that is, don't listen to the naysayers. I was told no multiple times every step of my entire career. From college, what I wanted to study, everything. Even my biology advisor in college said, there's no jobs for biology majors. But I never listened. And I said yes to my heart, yes to my passion and purpose. So trust in yourself. I think that's the most important thing you can do. Believe in yourself, even if nobody else, your friends, your family, colleagues, nobody believes in you. If it's that important to you, there's a reason for it, and it can be done.
I love that. Yeah, I believe the same thing, that the most important thing that we can do is to trust our inner guidance. And the best proof that we trust it is by taking action in the direction of our inner guidance.
Exactly.
Beautiful. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to give you a big hug. I thank you for being here on this show. And thank you so much for following your heart and not listening to the naysayers and being a trailblazer. We really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure and an honor. And thank you, Mark. And I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listening, for watching here. We will answer any questions or comments, put those down below. Again, I'll post some links with that free gift that Anne shared before. It's the Meet Your Dolphin Spirit Guide meditation.
Yes.
Link below. Thank you again for watching and being here and being the light. We'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Leading with Purpose. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to lead with purpose and make a meaningful impact. If you're ready to discover where you stand on your leadership journey, I invite you to take the Soulful Leadership Assessment. It's a powerful tool to help you align with your leadership style and your true purpose.